a designer. And she left for England
wow.
like 2 weeks later. She goes, I'm so sorry, I can't do your job. And I'm like, okay, screw it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then these magazines they were just desperate for content, I think. So I got in, that house got in a lot. And I mean, I did it with the West Elm catalog and like the tile shop down the street.
Yeah.
But it kind of put you on the map because
Yeah,
I think, and
100%,
I think also what I
100%.
loved about it and your early work, and I'm sure still today, but today you're doing all kinds of, I mean, you've always been doing amazingly cool things. But I think it was also, whatever the word is that I'm looking for, you may have said, like, I was doing it from the tile shop up the street in the West Elm catalog. Still, someone could see the work and go, wow. Like, she didn't have to fly to Paris and find all of her rugs. Like, no. Like, you can create a beautiful space. It doesn't need to take millions of dollars. It doesn't.
Correct.
Is it helpful to have a bigger budget? Yes, but it's
great.
Some of the most stylish homes I've ever been in, or the most stylish people I know, are not people who are formally trained, who have unlimited funds. They can just put an outfit together. They can put a house together. Great style.
Yep.
And then I've since redone that house for a client that did have a budget, and you should see it now. It's like, oh, that's what it was supposed to look like.
Oh, had a budget as in like had a much higher budget.
Much higher budget. And we finished that about a year ago, and it was weird, like sitting in my kitchen.
Yes.
Because it had been sold 2 or 3 times and then he got it.
Okay.
But that was a very. I had so many memories in the house. My kids to this day are still mad at me for selling it. That was the one that got away.
Because that was the house you really had kids still. Your kids are grown now, but that was you had little kids in the house.
I had them all home back then when we had that house. Yeah, and they were, they loved the yard but then we did it right with my other client.
I would think it'd be full circle or half circle.
It was.
Like, look, now I'm back and I'm going to do it.
I'd literally be standing in his kitchen, just sort of look at and I was like pulled back, like, oh, I better go get something in my, in my room.
It's amazing.
So that was fun. That was a fun experience on top of
So
design.
then through that, other people started hiring you.
Okay, so the truth of the matter was I got done with the house, turned out cute, and then these magazines kind of were like, yeah, we want to publish it and everything. So then the home tour asked me to put the house on the home tour, the Newport Harbor home tour, which is awesome.
Right.
And I owe them everything.
Huge exposure.
I owe them everything. Like, I was a no-name designer. I wasn't a designer. And, they like designers. They like to put designers on.
And even that's evolved a lot over time.
Yeah.
The home tour.
Yeah.
Anyway, but go back to...
But it's big, and it's a big judgy day.
Oh,
Yes.
it is.
Yes, it
Because
is.
I used to go, when I lived here, I would go on that home tour every year. And you see so many beautiful homes, any of which I could walk in. If someone invited me over to that house, I would think like, this is absolutely incredible. But there's something about walking through 5 or 7 homes, every inch of it, or the inches they let you see, that it's almost so overwhelming that you start start looking for the things you don't like. So I was like, look at this.
Yep.
Day of judgment.
So right, so
Exactly.
then when if I was approached about a home tour, and even now like the Utah Parade of Homes, I'm like, no chance.
Oh, you won't do it?
No, I won't, because I think that if I just invited somebody to dinner, they might like the house. But if all of a sudden all the strangers are going through it for design ideas, they might just be like, well, I would never use that
was
tile,
torture.
and I would never,
Well, so then I was like, you know what? This was a lot of fun. And I told my husband, I think I want to do this. And I said, listen, I have no skin in the game. I'm going to go buy some cards and put them on the table. And I didn't even go for the 500 pack, because that was an extra $40. I went for like the 200.
That was more of a commitment.
And
now people would say like, it's manifesting, make $1 million.
and the manifesting, it works for some people. I don't even know what that is, but I did. I put them down there, said a little prayer, and got the heck out of there for the day. I was like probably at the goose, because it was so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But it wasn't nerve-wracking, because I was like, if no one hires me or calls me, that's totally fine.
Right.
I'm not even want
No
to be an
harm, no
interior
foul.
designer. It was kind of fun, but we'll see.
Right.
And so then that kicked things off. Then I had like 8 little tiny, teeny tiny, I need a bedroom refresh, not even the bathroom. They didn't even trust me for the bathroom yet.
Find me some new bedding.
Like that, yeah. And I had, and it's so funny, because now we laugh at that. I took that so seriously.
Of course you did.
I just loved it.
And you're so flattered and honored that somebody
That someone
is trusting you
trusts
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
and wants your help.
Yeah. So that was kind of how I got into interior design. Then I got better jobs, you got me some great ones. That was an early one. And then one gal from the home tour had a big, beautiful house over in Dover Shores. And she, like to this day, if she said, I need a new light, I need a new drinking glass.
Yeah.
I'm there for her.
I have somebody like that trusted me so much in early days, believed in me more than I even believed in myself.
Yeah.
Back in the days when you're like, I'm saying I'm a designer, but it doesn't even roll off the tongue because it feels like such like, am I a designer? I felt like everyone was like, she's not really a designer. She's making it up. But, and honestly, because of some of the mistakes that I remember ordering, this is before anyone was doing digital layouts or before I even was capable of, and I'm still not really good at it, of doing like a scaled furniture layout, that we designed like, in this gorgeous home, Kings Road, we're gonna do these 2 custom sofas with all the chairs, blah, blah, blah. We go to install them. There is no way in hell 2 sofas would fit in that room. And her answer was like, oh, don't worry, we'll put it in the other house. And I almost cried because I was like, how am I gonna tell my husband that we now own this custom sofa that I have no place for and I have to just eat this amount of money? Yeah.
Well,
so
and
it's
we
those
should
people
talk
that
about
trust you early days.
We are all 3 designers doing the same thing, and for me, the imposter syndrome was real. Because all of a sudden, I'm like, now have a business, and I have employees, and I'm like, wait, I am nervous to go into the Pacific Design Center because I think they're going to kick me out because I don't have the AIA card or whatever it is. And
I had that the first time I went into the Pacific Design Center too. Yeah,
that-
at that same
I've never
time.
gone.
well,
Did I take you?
Edit
No, but
that.
I think it's why one of the reasons I love to mentor younger designers, or just like even when you guys were starting, take you with me, because I remember that fear. And then I went to work for a bigger firm, and I think they just wanted to get rid of me because, as you know, training a new employee, no matter how badly you want the new employee, you don't have time to also train them. And I went in for one of my first days, and they were like, "Oh, we're just looking for go find fabrics and wallpaper with very little instruction." And I remember having to go to the design center and being like, afraid that they would figure out I wasn't actually a designer, and then afraid to bring back the things that I found to show the other designers what I found. Like, just the whole thing. There's so much nerve
There is, and I've
rackingness
been doing
attached to it.
talks and podcasts and stuff because I started my design business at 49.
Which is because I'm all about like the chapter next. I'm
next
obsessed
chapter.
with chapter next.
But the thing is, you're still pretty young, lucky you.
He's a youngster.
But fear is the only thing in our way.
Yeah.
And money. I mean, obviously, you have to have money
Because there's a lot of risk, right? The
There's
financial
but
risk.
if you could have a day job and do interior design, like have to take a job or whatever.
Yep.
But once you get to a certain age, I felt, at least me, like it just kind of goes down. Like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I mean, my goodness.
It's completely true.
It's
completely true.
I always want to get my real estate license and do that. I still do. I still might, but I love real estate so much. Like, it's like almost not a drug, but I can't wait to get on that MLS every day and see what's popped up overnight.
Oh, I love you and my husband. I don't do that. I don't do that, but my husband loves doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that imposter syndrome lasted about 3 or 4 years, but I was getting good jobs at that point, really good. And
then you just learn to trust. Like, you know what? If other people think I'm a designer enough to hire me as a designer, I must be a designer.
And then the big one was Eric Olson's a really. He and I kind of started off together. He also had it. He was like, he worked for a company.
I didn't know that.
And
I thought he'd been around doing this forever.
Yeah, so did I.
And you guys do a lot of work together.
we do, we're on. He says like 18 projects. I'm only counting like 6, but that's a lot. Those are long projects, and we have very different styles. But when we come together, we really, I love the end product.
And he's an architect. I'm like, sorry, Eric Olson.
Yeah,
he's an architect or a builder. He's an architect. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so doing beautiful work. And I do love when I see the photos of projects you've done together, because you're right, his aren't necessarily colorful, but I feel like his projects with your involvement
get a little,
and more flair.
Yeah, and like you should see him, you guys. It's like I'll show up and I'll be like, I want to do the shower doors green in this house that we just did. Dark green. That's not really a color, right?
Right.
It's like black.
Green is a neutral in my world. Green matches
blue,
with
and
everything.
Neutrals, yes.
He's doing this, and I'm like, come on, you've got to
trust me
a bone. Because otherwise it's black. I mean, but he has beautiful projects.
Beautiful projects.
If I want to work with him, then I lean into his style a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And I have no problem with that.
No, absolutely.
You know?
I know. I think a lot of people misinterpret, or I've done a bad job of educating people about the brand, that flair is color and pattern only, and they'll send me these pictures like, look, it's flair, and I'm like, okay, I think that's really ugly actually. But like, I don't think flair has to have any color attached to it. It's just doing something that's uniquely
It's
individual in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a great.
Yes.
And when somebody asks me what's flair, I'm going to say it's this.
It's just you're
It's
taking
this.
it from this to this. I think that's what
Start
it
a flare
Yeah.
dance.